VanGerena, and today I'm at the downtown YMCA in Orlando, Florida. Standing next to me is Scott Horns. Scott, can you tell everyone a little bit about what you do, your role here?
I'm the senior wellness instructor here, and I oversee the wellness department, which encompasses our group exercise classes and our personal training classes as well. Another project I work on too is I'm our endurance coach here as well. I work on training athletes for triathlons and marathons.
Some people might be wondering why we're standing by the pool outside in December. It's because it's Florida and it's wintertime, but it's still not so bad. Being wintertime, being December, Christmas is around the corner. This is a time of year that can be challenging for a lot of people when it comes to health and wellness. Talk about some of the stumbling blocks or challenges that when you talk to people that they seem to have in common.
A lot of people just have really lofty goals, and there's nothing wrong with that, but you have to sit down and kind of reevaluate those. You'll set your goals, and then you're going to start fitting in my lifestyle. And a lot of times we have to do a little gut check. We have to figure out, this is where I want to be, but my lifestyle is not going to allow me to reach these goals right now. I'm trying to show up, going from 0 workout days to 5 days in the span of 2 weeks. Start with 1 day. The biggest thing is to just focus on being consistent. Doing something is better than anything. And I like to say, if you show up, you're going to work out. So hours there, just do something. Even if you don't feel good on the way there, just give yourself a chance to at least start the activity. And if you're not feeling good after about 10 minutes or so, then maybe it's a day for you to take a little bit of rest. The biggest obstacle when kicking off the program is just we get a little gung-ho and we set really big goals for ourselves, and a lot of times it's not something, not saying you can't achieve that, but we're just saying maybe take a little bit longer approach to get there.
Is it the commitment that is challenging for people, or is it creating a new routine?
It's staying down. The biggest thing is everyone's committed, everyone's motivated, but then they start getting these roadblocks. All of a sudden they get sick, or all of a sudden their workload increases. Or you go in for a week or two, and then these roadblocks start entering your life, and they start throwing you off your game. You miss 1 day, you miss another day, then it just gets to the point where it's just too hard to get in. Usually when you realize that maybe I'm trying to do too much. Maybe I don't need to do this 5 days a week, maybe 3 days a week. And that's when you start to make these little changes, or you start organizing your life better. So it gets tricky in planning your workouts, planning your exercise. It's just a matter of identifying these roadblocks when they pop up. And that's what's great about the program we have here at the Y, the coach appointments with our wellness coaches. And during those appointments we set goals, long-term and short-term, and we identify the roadblocks.
Extra for that? Is that going to cost me extra if I'm trying to start up a new program?
No, not at all. It's included in your membership fees. Usually the 2 qualifying questions we ask just to kind of make sure that the program fits for everyone is, have they been working out? If the answer is no, then they're definitely a candidate. And if they have been working out, have they done it for 6 months or more? And if the answer is no, again, they're still a candidate, because generally if someone's been working out less than 6 months, that habit's maybe not concrete yet in their lifestyle. If someone's been over that 6-month period, they're pretty much regular exercise.
When I get into those time periods where I just get burnt out, or I just need a break, I get into the habit of eating things that I don't normally eat. I put on a little extra weight, and then I don't feel like going to the gym. Whether it's someone like me who takes a little bit of time off and gets wrapped up in the holidays, baking cookies and going to parties, or if it's someone who is just new and really wanting to start something fresh. When is the right time? If I'm going to set my New Year's resolution, should I start on January 1st? Do I just set that goal and say on January 1st I'm going to be dedicated?
It's great to have that deadline, but you should do some things, do some homework before that deadline. Things to start to rearrange your lifestyle so that when you start January 1st, your infrastructure in your life is in place. So you want to tell your work, you want to tell your family, hey, I'm going to now start taking care of myself for the benefit of my family and for my employer. I'm going to be a healthier person. So this is what I'm going to do each week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm going to be at the YMCA at 5 o'clock after work to work out for an hour, and then I'll be home. You start to plan that time until everyone expects it, so then no one starts to encroach on that's one step to take. Another step to take is make sure you have the right gear. If you think you're going to be running to get in shape, make sure you have new running shoes. Make sure the fitness reasons for relapse and why people stop working out is they get hurt. And that's typically because they don't have the right gear and they did too much too soon. So that's another reason what we talked about earlier about starting slow and adding in a little bit at a time is it gives your body a chance to adapt. 6 weeks for your body, your bone density, your tendons, your ligaments to adjust to that extra exercise. So if you start to do anything too intense before that time period, you're going to increase your risk.
What if I just want it tomorrow?
Yeah. It's not going to tomorrow is the dedication and the feeling you get from working out for 20 minutes, 30 minutes. 20 to 40 minutes is a great time frame for a cardiovascular workout. Your body will see all the benefits from that. You'll experience all the benefits from that. Decrease stress, increase energy levels. And then from there you can build on based on what your goals are. You may not even have to build from there. There's lots of things you can do within that time frame once you reach that 40 minutes. BMI is kind of a measure of your entire body. It takes into account your build, your muscle mass, and your fat tissue. Your body fat is a percentage of your subcutaneous fat, so basically the fat you can pinch.
Okay.
So those numbers are great because if you want to track something, you need to measure it, and they always say you want to monitor it, you need to measure it, and that's fine. One thing I always caution against is a lot of times people get caught up in those numbers, and those numbers fluctuate.
And BMI, what is the difference?
As we were talking about earlier, body fat percentages is typically there's several ways to measure that. You can use the calipers, which everyone is kind of familiar with that, the pinch test.
Oh yeah, I had that. It didn't feel very good.
No, and basically you're pinching based on the pinch or the distance of the fold in your skin, and the measurements you take, you get an estimate, a rough estimate of how much your percentage of body fat within your body.
Is that accurate, or
to someone who's very trained in doing it, it can be very accurate, but that's rare. For the most part, you're probably going to see anywhere from a 4 to 8% variation, and it could vary. You could have it measured in the morning and in the evening, the same person, and it'll change.
And if they're going to use a caliper, where do they measure you?
There's different areas. Typically, they'll do the abdomen. They'll do behind the lower shoulder blade, your tricep, and they'll do your leg as well. So there's different options. And a lot of times they can do 5 points or 3 points. It just depends.
Why do they measure those particular areas?
Those particular areas they're kind of indicative of where a lot of times we store fat. Obviously you don't want to use your finger because there's not much there. These are typically more, especially men. A lot of our fat's deposited in our abdomen area. So that's kind of where that goes, and it's specific to men and women. Will have different pinch areas. The biggest thing is you have to realize that there's that margin of error. But moving forward, if you use the same person every time, you will see a general trending in either up and down direction depending on where you're going with your body fat. So it may not be a 100% accurate number, but the number will be trending lower if you are getting more fit and losing fat. You'll at least be moving in that direction.
All of this talk about body fat and BMI was really confusing, so we decided to go visit some experts over at the Institute for Hormonal Balance.
This is the GE Lunar IDEXA machine. This is a 64-head machine manufactured by GE Corporation and is considered the gold standard currently. And it's the same machine used on the TV show, what is it, NBC, The Biggest Loser. It's the same machine they use to monitor the body composition of all the contestants on that show. The difference between this machine here and a lot of other machines out there for body composition is this will actually break your body down into certain sections and tell you how much fat is in that section as well as a total body number. Some of your other testing things out there, hyperstatic weighing, bioimpedance, the bod pod, their margin of error is between 3 and 6%, where the DEXA is less than 1%. And in some of those, we do have some of the other things that can affect that, like bioimpedance, is how much water did we drink, did we exercise before, did we eat before. Those will all throw your total body number off with bioimpedance. And hyperstatic weighing, you can kind of throw that number off depending on whether you can expel all the air out of your lungs when you're being submerged into that water tank. So this is really the most non-invasive test with a very small dose of radiation to give you a total number to actually see how symmetrical you are. And if you're an athlete and you want to know how symmetrical you are, this is the machine. We scan him today and he goes out and tears his ACL and has to go to rehab. We know exactly how to rehab that leg to get it back to the same muscle density and lean mass it was prior to the actual injury.
That was some great information.
Now, to weigh or not to weigh.
Someone told me once that it was important that if I was going to weigh myself, that I was consistent in the time of day
Yeah.
that I weigh myself.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah, you want to be consistent. Typically, I'd say if people are good with the numbers they see, then I'd say go ahead and weigh yourself. And I would suggest doing it one day a week in the morning. You can tell whether you're losing weight or not. You know, the way your pants fit, you can tell whether you're losing weight or not.
I know when I first joined the Y, I walked in, it was so overwhelming. I came out to the pool and there were all these people going back and forth, back and forth. I didn't really know, I didn't really know how to swim.
Yeah.
I'd see all these people in these classes with tons of people and all this loud music, and they seem like they're having fun, but I kind of felt like I didn't fit in there.
Yeah.
It'd be intimidating for people.
Yeah.
I mean, I think coming through that front door, first of all, is intimidating.
Yeah, especially here.
What does the Y do to make it so that it's more comfortable?
Really, it starts with our staff beginner at some point. So we understand the steps that it takes from having the courage to even sign up for membership or even walk in the front door. Classes for beginners, classes for intermediates, and classes for the athletes. So a lot of our classes for beginners, they're the health seeker classes. These classes are going to be shorter, about 30 minutes in length, a little more instruction, a little less intensity, and they're smaller classes. That's the way they're designed to be, so that everyone's a little more comfortable and they get a little more instruction from the instructor.
You said it's a
health seeker class, yeah.
Okay, I like that.
So for each of our activities here, we'll have say take spinning for example. We have a beginning spin group, a health seeker spin group, and then we have our step up, our intermediate spin classes, and then we have our spin classes for the seasoned cyclist or athlete who wants to really
So spinning's not a dance class.
No, it's not. It's actually a bike. Yeah, you get on and spin away. So yeah, it's good. We have beginning yoga. We have beginning. It's necessarily a beginner. It's for someone. We could have a collegiate swimmer who's never been on a spin bike, so they may want to start in the beginning class because they'll get the instruction on how to set the bike up.
Do you mind showing me some of those other areas?
Yeah, we certainly can do it. Yeah.
That'd be great. All right. Great. So I'm glad you're with us, Scott. We are in another area of the Y. Can you tell us a little bit about this area, what it is, and
this room we're in the walk area above the front desk. We call this area the health seeker walk.
Okay.
So this is it's kind of separated from the rest of the facility. It's nice and open, so it has a very comfortable feel to it. And generally, a little less people are in this room. We kind of tailor the needs of this room for someone who's just beginning this exercise. Spinning is a great cardiovascular exercise using a non-weight-bearing activity, cycling, spin bikes, to do that. You can really get your heart rate up there. You can really do a lot of work without a lot of impact to your body. So it cuts down your recovery time, so you're more likely to be able to come back in a day or two. Talking about earlier, we have different classes. So not every class is going to be music pumping, 40 people going all out. We have our beginner classes and we have our classes for older adults as well. So we have different segments so everyone can kind of find a class and an instructor that meets, fits well with.
Out of curiosity, how accurate are those power meters?
They're accurate. I mean, just like all of them have been calibrated, and I've kind of correlated my numbers on the road from my own power meter, which is pretty accurate, about a 0.5% margin of error to these, and then everything matches up. So it's a great device, and it's reliable.
I'd love to come back another time when there is a spin class going on, so we could actually see that in motion.
Yeah, that would be good. It's a lot of energy, so it's good.
I hope you learned a little bit, and you'll join me again. Follow the blog, okay? I'm going to go check out with Scott, and we'll see you next time. Scott, I really want to thank you for taking the time with me today, talking to me about what you're doing here at the Downtown Y, and helping me get back on course to a health and wellness program that I want, because I don't think I can afford to wait till New Year's.
Yeah. So, no, I mean, there's no better time than the present to start taking care of ourselves. It's nice to just say, hey, I'm going to start January 1st, but really, no reason why you can't start today. So just identify where you want to go and start to take that first step.
That's great. Thanks so much. I really appreciate your time. Have a great day.
Well, I hope you found today's information useful. Please hit the like button and subscribe to our blog. Today's message was brought to you in part by Cureman, the good folks at Europharma, and the Downtown YMCA of Orlando, Florida.